Hello everybody, welcome back again. My name is NX8Steven and welcome back to the PBE Rundown. Wow, this is actually the first one I've actually done this year. It's a bit amazing that I haven't done one yet. I know I was meant to do the one not last week but the week before, but I didn't do it because the patch was more just balance changes and the only topic that was really anything decent was the new item, and I wanted to cover that in a chat room. So yeah, I didn't bother doing that one just because it would just be like a 5-minute video saying, oh, this is a new thing here. That's it. It's the entire patch. But even if that's the case now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure I 100% do these now. So don't worry about that. I will be covering every single news video that, well, every single bit of news to do with League and the PBE Rundown. So in today's video, just before I start, I need to get you guys to go to Surrender at 20. Surrender at 20 is the website that I use to get all my information and a lot of the images as well. This site is awesome. The people who create it, like Mubi, and even the people who help him make it, like the skin spotlights, they are all awesome people. They do this amazing website that is so fucking useful, and I use this on a regular basis, so that's something. So, the first thing that we are going to be covering in today's video is the new skins. So, starting off is the first skin out the lot, being Blood Moon Yasuo. Blood Moon Yasuo is a interesting skin. I actually like this skin. It's definitely quite cool and stuff. And if you guys ever watched the top 10 skins of last year, you guys would know that I actually started talking a little bit about the project skins, and I specifically stated in that one that the only project skin I really liked was Zed's. All the others to me was not that great. The only particle effects were the best thing about the skins. The skin itself was awful, and Yasuo's version was a part of that. I actually liked his other skin, being the High Noon Yasuo, which was his release skin, and now with this skin is, to me, his best skin. It basically takes the cool factor of the High Noon and adds in the awesome particles of the project. And so overall, this skin is my favourite one out the lot. Personally, I'm still not going to get it. I don't like playing Yasuo. I find him a bit dull, and I just don't like the playstyle. I'm not much of an assassin player. I'm not a fan. But there you go. Yasuo's getting a new Blood Moon skin to go with the other Blood Moon set, which is cool. So, the factor about the Blood Moon Yasuo is I'm not sure of the actual mask, so if you guys actually know what the Blood Moon skins are, the Blood Moon skins are Ionian based, and they take inspiration of, I think it's the Japanese mythology, where these monsters had like specific like faces and they use these masks within their culture. I'm not too sure though. If you guys actually want to go and read that up, go ahead. I don't know anything much about it, but it's just what I've seen a bit. So this is actually one of them, which is cool, just like all the other Blood Moons, like Shen and that lot. The next skin is another Blood Moon skin, this time for the little yodel, Kenan. Kenan's Blood Moon skin has been one that has been wanted for such a long time, like, holy hell. Right back when only Akali and Shen had their Blood Moon skins, Kenan was one of them that was always being raised, because you have these three ninjas of Akali, Kenan, and Shen that all work together, and the Shen and Akali, they actually have these themes shared. They actually have quite a few shared themes, even though they're not called the same thing, but the only one that they all three have is the Surgeon set. So you have Surgeon Shen, Kenan MD, and Akali Nurse Akali. Those three are the skins for this like doctor set type thing, and that's the only set they have together. But now the Blood Moon set is a part of them. So just like all the other Blood Moons other than Akali, Kenan is again based on a mask within the Japanese mythology, which is quite cool. It left it as the really scary factor within it, especially the recall. The recall's actually fairly creepy. because it like rips off his mask. It's a lot like Blood Moon Callista, how she does that. And Blood Moon is one of my favourite sets out of all the entire league, so I'm actually quite happy that these two have gotten Blood Moon skins, because it just makes the Blood Moon set even better. So yeah, that's great. So that's actually all the skins that were actually added in this set. However, that's not the only thing related to the Blood Moon, because 4 new icons were released. 3 of them are related to the Blood Moon. So you have the Blood Moon Kenan, Blood Moon Yasuo, and the Blood Moon Seal. So they are all pretty cool. The Kenan one is obviously Kenan. It's the Blood Moon Kenan's face. The Yasuo one's the face of the Blood Moon Yasuo. And then the Seal is actually quite interesting because the Seal is actually only really seen on Blood Moon Yasuo. Because when he's doing his recall, he slashes the Seal into the floor. Which is a bit weird how he's the only one with this like seal betrayed on him. Whereas all the others don't have this seal. So that's just a little bit of a weird factor. And also the final icon is here called Dominion's the retirement Dominion icon, and this is basically just to represent the passing of Dominion. So if you guys haven't kept up to date with the League of Legends stuff, Dominion has now been removed from the game, unfortunately. And if you had 100 wins on Dominion prior to that announcement, you will be getting this Dominion icon. Personally, I don't like this icon, and the fact that they're just giving away an icon for removing a mode that so many people, well, not really so many, but quite a few people did play, is a little bit of a slap in the face, kind of, but that's just the factor of it. They've removed it, and we kind of have to just deal with that. So if that's your mode, please tell me about it, and what's your thoughts on this, on them removing it. Just do it in the comments down below. And yeah, that's all you're going to get is this icon, which is a little bit pathetic in my opinion. The next thing on the chopping block is the new item, or remake of items. So the Manamune and the Muramana and the Manamune have been changed. Not big changes really, they're quite relatively small, but now, so let's start off with the Manamune. So starting off is it has a new effect. The new effect is that every 8 seconds you will gain 1 maximum mana. So this basically means that you are able to get the Muramana a lot quicker now with the Manamune, which is quite cool because it actually allows you to quickly get it a little bit faster, because as you guys should know prior, the way to get the Muramana with the Manamune was that you have to either auto attack or you have to use abilities, because that's the special thing about the Manamune, is that you was allowed to use auto attacks to actually get it, to upgrade it. But that is still available, but now you actually have the extra thing that every 8 seconds you get 1 mana, which is actually pretty good. It's a very low value, so it's not going to be like super game changing, but it's not going to be that bad either. It's actually pretty nice. The next thing is the Muramana. The Muramana has actually been heavily changed. So the old toggle thing where you'll toggle it off and on is now gone. It has now been replaced with a unique passive called Shock. The Shock passive is now single target spells and attacks on hit on champions consume 3% of your current mana to deal physical damage. The damage is equal to twice the amount of mana that is consumed. This effect activates when you have greater than 20% maximum mana. So this item seems really strong, but however, this now seems a bit crappy, because the next set of things that they've also added was the bonus damage can now only apply on the champions, which is a little bit stupid, and the fact that it can only be toggled when you have more than 20% maximum mana is again a little bit pathetic. So, as you guys should know, the whole ideal of Blue Ezreal was a thing, and it was really strong. He was able to be safe, he was able to kite well, and all of that. And I know Riot gave us some context why they're doing this, why they're nerfing this item, but the fact that they've nerfed the item Ezreal and the Iceborne Gauntlet as well, so it's a 3-way nerf for Ezreal, and it doesn't seem like it's going to infect him too much. He's most likely going to be losing the whole blue build again. It seems like it's going to be a little bit shitty on him now. And normal Ez, normal AD carry Ez going like Essence Reaver, and that is going to be the best option now for him. But we don't know what's going to entail. But for man immune based champions, it's going to be a little bit more weaker on them. So that actually entails basically just Ezreal and Jace. So take with it what you will, but it does seem a little bit of a over nerf for Ezreal and a little bit of a nerf to Jace even when he didn't need it. The next set of stuff to talk about is the new masteries. So the new masteries are quite interesting. So you have like this new tier 2, I think it is. I think it's a tier 2. It's the second tier one down from the first set, and it's called Expose Weaknesses. Damaging an enemy causes them to take 3% more damage from your allies. That is quite interesting. I quite like that idea, that you can do this extra damage, and I can definitely see in this being a very nice item on champions like supports, top laners, and even junglers might be taking this. I highly doubt any mid laner or AD carry taking this, because it just doesn't do anything for you. Well, it does, because it allows your teammates to get extra damage, but you're trying to get as much damage for yourself as possible, rather than giving out the damage to other players. Unless if you're playing like the likes of a mid lane Lulu maybe, or some sort of mid lane supportive player, then you might be taking this just to allow your AD carry or your top lane or whatever to get just that little bit more damage off. But overall, this is going to be a very nice item, especially on the top laners, and possibly for supports and junglers as well. And it's going to be quite cool, and I actually like it. The next thing is Warlord's Bloodlust. So you guys should know, when the whole preseason came out, Warlord's Bloodlust was fucking broken. Kind of. It was actually reasonably good on champions as AD carries. It was okay on them. It wasn't like OP on them. However, the fact that Yasuo and Tryndamere had so much use out of this, that it just made them two nearly unkillable. It was fucking retarded on how stupidly strong these two were. But now, they ended up nerfing this item right down to the point now where Warlords is useless. It's crap. It's no point taking the thing. They've tried giving it like a few like little mini buffs and stuff there and there, but to be fair, it wasn't enough for Warlord's Bloodlust. However, now they've done a complete rework of it. So now the rework has changed to when you gain more lifesteal based on your missing health against champions up to 20%. Against minions, this benefit is 50%. So the amount of lifesteal you get is actually different depending on the amount of missing health. So it will start at 10% missing health, you will get 1% lifesteal. At 50% health, you will get 8% lifesteal, and at 80% missing health or more, you can get up to 20% lifesteal. This little change to this this mastery is really good, and I don't know where it's going to be situated at the moment, and how well it's going to work on champions like AD carries, because as you guys should know, we've got a nice little mastery called Fever of Battle, and Fever of Battle gives us more damage as we auto attack. And this item is going to be quite nice on maybe champions like Jinx and stuff, where getting this little bit of this lifesteal now is going to be a little bit more beneficial for them. Maybe, I still don't know where this is going to be situated and who's going to be taking this. So I'm definitely going to be testing this out on many AD carries, but I can definitely say this right now, that burst AD carries like the likes of Corki, if you did the old Thunderlord's Lucian as well, or Ezreal, the Warlord's Bloodlust is not going to be good for you. You know, still stick with the Thunderlords in that regards, or If you want to go more of a scaly type Corki or scaling type of those bursts, you'll go for Fever of Battle. Warlord's Bloodlust is not going to serve them any purpose whatsoever. Other than that, guys, there's not been anything else really added to this. We've had a few other updates to the whole bots. There's new bots in the game. There's also some club stuff that was also showed off on the PBE. Same for the Hextech crafting. But none of that's in the current patch at the moment, so we're still waiting on all of that good stuff. So that's actually everything that I wanted to cover in this. Just before I end though, the champions of Diana, Leona, and Pantheon have also had their laws changed to do with Mount Targon, and believe it or not, literally about a few minutes before I started recording this, Riot released a Targon story thing where there are 5 champions. 2 of them we don't know yet. 3 of them have been shown. That's Diana, Leona, and Pantheon. So you can actually read their laws on the website. I'll probably leave in the link in the description if I remember. Other than that, the other 2 champions we have no idea about. And I'm guessing it's going to be Taric and Adrian Sol, because Taric is the next champion to be released by the champion update team, and the next champion to be released is probably going to be Adrian Sol, since he's coming out at the first section of this year, as Riot stated. So I'm guessing he's going to be next. So possibly them 2 might be not in the current PBE patch, which is 6.5, but possibly the 6.6. So keep your eyes open for that. We might be getting. And other than that, guys, hope you've all enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, everyone, peace.